All right, we're going to get started. Of course, last week we discussed chivalry and trying to keep chivalry alive. Hopefully, that was an enjoyable lesson or um, a lesson that some young men got benefit from. Um, just trying to help you understand the importance of uh, treating women with respect. Um, that's very funny, Abby. Um, and so I wanted to know, did anyone do any of these chivalry challenges from last week? I don't know if any guys are on, but did any guys open up the door for a woman, position yourself on the outside of the sidewalk, or pump gas for a woman that you know? Anybody? Or did you ladies tell your husbands that they needed to start back doing some of these things if they hadn't? Anybody? Please do comment. Because if we did not have young men do it, then maybe some of you ladies that are on here had a discussion with your significant other and they decided that they want to start back doing these things again. Anybody at all? Miss Abby said TJ positioned himself on the outside of the sidewalk, but he needs to work on pumping my gas and opening the door. But you know what? That is progress. Hand clap for TJ. Jakia said, my boyfriend did pump the gas. Well, he does every time. That is awesome. Great to hear. Great to hear. Miss Abby, I believe TJ he'll get there on pumping the gas and opening the door. Sooner than later, hopefully. What about you, Miss Heather? I don't guess we have any guys on. Again, the question was, did any of the guys complete the challenges that they were given last week to open a door for a woman, position yourself on the outside of the sidewalk when you and a lady are walking, or pump gas for a woman that you know? I also asked the ladies who have a husband or boyfriend, did they talk to them about chivalry and what did they do differently last week? Yeah, go for a walk. But when you go for a walk, Jakia, I want you to not mention it. Just see if he does it right off the back. And if not, then, you can just send him to the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Texas Facebook page to watch the video on chivalry. But last week was mostly me talking. This week, of course, you will only hear my voice on this video. Miss Heather said her husband pumps the gas, and that's awesome because they've probably been married for a good while. So for him to still be doing things like that, that's awesome. This isn't something that you want to start and stop. This is something you want to continue doing. But I wanted to give the ladies on this session to let their voices be heard. This is Passport to Manhood session, but last week we discussed chivalry, really, I guess, kind of from my point of view. And so I really want you all to help me out today. Heather says her no car door yet, but other doors he opens. So that's good, though. At least he is still opening some doors for her. And if we'll all be honest, um, sometimes if we're not thinking, you know, because apparently men have the tendency to not think sometimes, and sometimes if we're not thinking, we won't even notice we just missed the act of chivalry. So that's good, though. But I want to hear from the ladies that are commenting on here today and Uh, just kind of ask what I miss. What is chivalry to you? And so if you can put that in the comments and we'll talk about it, we'll discuss it. And so what is chivalry to you? What did I miss last week? Because um I can think I have some of the best chivalry in the world, but I'm one person married to one woman. And so what works for myself and for my wife may not work for everybody. As I tried to say last week, people have different things that they like. Um, and so, again, if you can just put in the comments, what is chivalry to you? And the reason why it's so important to hear this from a lady's perspective is because a lot of times men and women think differently. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. Um, but that's just how life is sometimes. Heather says that her husband makes sure he pays at a restaurant even though we share an account. That's one thing I tried to make known last week. I believe in when you're first starting off in your dating or courting era. I believe that the guy should be paying for the dates. Just how I believe it. That may not work for everyone. Um, but when you get married, who it really doesn't matter who card you use because you're one now, and man, if you think your money is all yours when you get married, you are sadly mistaken. Um, because it's y'all's money now. Miss Abby says, to me, genuine chivalry is something that is done without being told. And that's so true. That's why it's important, especially for you young men, to understand now you have to make this a part of who you are. This can't simply be um, something that your maybe future wife or whatnot is constantly having to ask you to do one day, but make this a part of who you are. Make this a part of your love and affection towards her to want her to have the best possible life that she can have. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not a millionaire. I don't. And Miss Heather just says it defeats the purpose whenever a lady has to ask these things. If she has to ask you to open up the door and do all these other acts of chivalry, if she has to ask you, it's raining outside and you got an umbrella over your head and she doesn't have one. If she has to ask you for the umbrella, she's in her mind, she's already trying to figure out what's going on in your head. And so I completely agree. Genuine chivalry is something that is done without being told to do so. And so, as I said to the young men last week, make this a part of who you are. It's like I was just saying, I'm not rich, I'm not a millionaire. There's a lot of things that I can't do for my wife. But what I can do is have genuine um, love and compassion for her and do nice things for her. And for you young men that are in school, one thing that you can do, you can open up a door for a young lady. You can position yourself on the outside of the sidewalk. You can, as I said, I wasn't just speaking concerning dating. You can help your mother with the gas. You can pump gas. Those are things you can just make that a part of who you are. And so, if anyone is joining, I ask the ladies to put in the comments what is chivalry to you. Because again, I'm one person, and what chivalry may look like to me may be different from what it looks like to you. So, do we have any others who would like to comment? Again, this won't be a very long session. I just wanted to hear from you all today. Oh, Miss Heather said, my husband always drives. It's either chivalry or he doesn't trust my driving. Nope, that's a setup. That's a setup. Any other comments? I'm not going to elaborate on Miss Heather's Miss Heather's comment because if my wife looks at the video, then I might get in trouble. Miss Jakia says, an act of chivalry to her is being able to have a listening and understanding ear. And that's so true. Young man, you have to understand it's not all about you. And if you go in to life thinking life is all about you, um, you're going to have a hard time. Um, because it's not all about you. As in fact, a great act of chivalry is um, putting her needs and wants before yours, especially as you become an adult, especially if you reach the point of, I don't know if you reach the point of marriage one day. I know I keep going to this topic, but especially if you reach that point, um, you have to understand then part of true showing her that you truly care is listening, understanding. Don't think that you're always going to be right because you're not. Listen to what she has to say. Really uh, pay attention and try to get a good understanding of who she is as a person. Because if you don't understand who she is as a person, uh, then you can try to do all the motions or acts of chivalry. But if you don't know who she is, um, you could just be running in a circle. So thank you, Mr. Kia, for that. Anybody else want to comment on what chivalry means to them? And if we have any young men watching the video, or whether it's live or a later time, I still want these three challenges to be done. Open up the door for a woman. If you and a woman are walking on the sidewalk, whether it's your sister, your mother, or maybe you're of dating age, um, position yourself on the outside of the sidewalk. You know, um, just to be that protector there. The third challenge was to pump gas for a woman in your family that you know. Maybe it's your mother, your sister, your grandmother. Especially with everything that's going on now, with all the COVID-19. Try to protect them as best as you can. If we have no further comments about what chivalry means to you, then that is about all I have for you. Again, I didn't want to hold you too long, because I can talk all day long. But thank you all for participating in this week's session of Passport to Manhood Chivalry Part 2. I had something else I wanted to talk about today at first, but for some reason I just had to go back to chivalry again. And so, again, thank you all for tuning in with us. For you young men who may watch this at a later time, please do these challenges, and I will put them in the comments. And please let us know that you have done them. Again, thank you all. You all have a great day.